Right. As you would appreciate, line of control is over 740 odd kilometers, which includes very difficult terrain, spells of inclement weather. So, despite the vigilance, there are gaps from where they try and infiltrate terrorist and warlike stores. Now, with each increasing day, the level of technology, the level of alertness is only improving. So, the infiltrations have come down significantly, which is also indicated by the peace in the hinterland. So, we feel that they are getting more and more desperate to push in these people from any way which is possible. And this is one attempt which was made early in the morning, which is indicative of its desperation here. Well, usually we find the AK series and at times, right, like you said, M4 rifles being recovered. This M16 is a Chinese make 9mm caliber weapon. This is an unusual recovery, but it would be too premature to speculate on the larger context of it. So I think we'll have to really examine and go into the details. This recovery has just been made yesterday, but it's an unusual one, yes. Right, ma'am. Firstly, identity. As you would have, learned, this one terrorist who's been captured alive from Nowshera, the confession that he has given, the terrorist who was caught, whose body was recovered from Kupada, had his ID on him. So probably it is our assessment that before pushing in these terrorists for infiltration, their IDs have been taken away from them and they were not in possession of any IDs as such. So we are not aware of the exact identities of these people. As regards the situation on the line of control, based on multiple inputs, it is our assessment that at any point in time, opposite this sector alone, we have close to 100 to 120 terrorists attempting to infiltrate and present in 15 to 20 launch pads which are close to the line of control. So while the ceasefire understanding is largely holding good for the benefit of people on both the sides, the presence of terrorists in the launch pad and their continuous attempts to infiltrate is on. Oh, well, not really. You would be aware of the reports which have happened, these kind of incidents which have happened on the IB in Punjab and other places. We are watching out for that and prepared to deal with it. देखिए, firstly, the desperation to push the terrorist in the daytime, it shows the level of frustration which is there on the other side. And secondly, the fact that within a few minutes this operation was over without any casualties to own troops and elimination of all the three terrorists. I think it sends a very clear signal of the level of preparedness of our troops on the line of control.
Jai Hind. I would be briefing you about Op Mrityunjay. Based on specific intelligence from the military intelligence, Jammu and Kashmir police, other agencies, as well as own sources, along with our own forward observation by the troops deployed on the line of control in the sector, which includes the troops of the Border Security Force, which had spotted suspicious movement in this area in this period. So based on these, Operation Mrityunjay was launched on 24th August in the Kamalkot area of Uri sector. The period of the operation was under inclement weather in terms of heavy rains and dense fog. And also, a note on the terrain is a difficult terrain in this area with undulations, steep gradient, thick undergrowth and dense vegetation, as well as a number of minefields. In this context, own troops that comprised of our ambush parties, small team ambush parties and surveillance detachments inducted into this area using stealth to their designated locations. To commend the action, own teams were not picked up by the enemy's surveillance devices and surveillance mechanisms. Own teams were deployed in this location for over 25 hours, and at 7:50 a.m. on 25th August, the own teams spotted infiltrating terrorists crossing the line of control. At this moment, the team commander recited the ambushes based on the progress of the movement of the terrorists. The movement of the terrorists was ascertained by using the latest aerial and ground-based sensors and surveillance equipment. And as the terrorist movement progressed, own teams kept readjusting their ambush locations. At around 8:45 a.m., the terrorists came into the killing ground at 40 to 50 meters from the own ambush. At that moment, own ambush engaged the terrorists by firing onto them and also displayed higher standard of junior leadership, tactical acumen and fire control. The terrorists retaliated to own engagement. In this brief exchange of 15 minutes, 3 Pak terrorists were neutralized and their bodies along with the weapons were observed lying in the minefield. At this moment, the own teams kept the area under observation so as to check for the remnants of this terrorist group. Thereon, once the area was secured and sanitized, own teams undertook search in the feasible areas within the minefield and recovered 3 killed terrorists along with the weapons and other stores. The search is still on because of the constraints of the minefield, and right now mine clearance measures are being undertaken to ensure proper search. Till now, this Operation Mrityunjay has yielded in 3 terrorists killed and also in the recovery of 2 AK series weapons, along with 1 Chinese M16 weapon and the ammunition of these weapons and other stores. It has also come to light that these terrorists were well kitted and prepared for infiltration, and also their build and gait indicates that they had undergone formal military training. During Operation Mrityunjay, own troops displayed highest standard of professionalism and courage. Also, all the latest and the new generation surveillance equipments and weapons were put to optimum use during the course of this operation.
अपने करियर की चिंता अब आप छोड़िए करियर मेकअप इंस्टीट्यूट पर, क्योंकि करियर मेकअप इंस्टीट्यूट आपको दे रहे हैं बेहतरीन स्टाफ की टीचिंग के साथ सरकारी नौकरी में 100% सिलेक्शन की गारंटी। करियर मेकअप इंस्टीट्यूट में आपको जेकेपी बॉर्डर बटालियन, वीएलडब्ल्यू, नायब तहसीलदार, जूनियर असिस्टेंट, कंबाइंड जेकेएसएसबी कोर्सेज करवाए जाते हैं। इसके अलावा जेकेपीएसआई कोर्सेज के लिए फ्रेश बैचेज भी शुरू हो रहे हैं। यही नहीं, 12th क्लास के रीअपेयर स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी कोचिंग क्लासेस उपलब्ध हैं, जहां स्टूडेंट्स को फ्रेश कोर्सेज के साथ बोर्ड एग्जाम्स के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट स्टडी मटेरियल भी मिलेगा। और तो और जो स्टूडेंट्स दिन में जॉब के कारण कोचिंग नहीं ले पाते, उनके लिए करियर मेकअप इंस्टीट्यूट जेकेएसएसबी के कंबाइंड कोर्सेज के लिए इवनिंग क्लासेस भी शुरू कर रहा है।